Harvard Business Review just confirmed what most software engineers don't want to hear. Your job isn't being cut because AI has replaced you. It is being cut because your employer thinks that it will. I have spent more than a decade as a software engineer in the tech industry, especially at NASA and Fortune 500 companies, before I realized that the only engineers who are actually completely immune to this are the ones that are generating their own revenue. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how to start doing that as a software engineer in 2026. Now, the survey specifically covered over 1,000 global executives and found that only 2% of layoffs happening right now are because AI has actually replaced somebody else's job. 39% of companies are eliminating engineering roles because they believe that AI will replace them within the next 6 to 12 months. And 9 out of 10 of those companies do not even have a vetted AI product ready to fill the roles that they're actually going to cut. So pretty much, chances are your employer is firing you based on a PowerPoint slide that somebody showed the board, and that's pretty much it. And I know the advice that you've probably seen or received is something along the lines of upskill, get certified, become irreplaceable, learn prompting, all these things. But how do you become irreplaceable to a company that has already decided that you're gone before the technology even exists to replace you? Well, you can't. And that's the problem that nobody is actually talking about. To help explain this better, there's a concept in aviation called controlled flight into terrain, CFIT. It's essentially when a perfectly functional airplane with properly trained pilots still somehow flies straight into the ground. And it's not because the engine failed, it's not because of a storm, it's because the instruments were feeding bad information to the pilots. And everything in a cockpit looks normal. The altitude says it's fine, the speed says it's good, and all systems are green, and then all of a sudden you just crash into a mountain. This is essentially what's happening right now to most software engineers out there. Think of yourself as a capable pilot, and yeah, your plane works, but the instruments that you're using to navigate your career are pointing you straight into the ground. And these instruments are, well, get a promotion, negotiate for a raise, learn the next hot new framework that's coming out, and you're gonna be all okay. Every single one of these assumes somebody else is keeping the aircraft in the air, be it your company, your manager, whoever your employer is, but they are not. 66% of CEOs are planning cuts or hiring freezes right now as you're watching this video. And tech unemployment has just hit 4.6%, the highest that it has ever been in 4 years. Even Goldman Sachs is projecting 20,000 AI-driven job losses per month this year. And that's not even including the outright layoffs that companies are going to do. Essentially, your company stops backfilling your team, freezes hiring, and automates the easy work. Your scope gets smaller. You go from building critical systems to pretty much babysitting a code base an agent already maintains. Sure, you're still gonna have the title, you're still gonna get the check, but you're being phased out in a way that you won't feel it until it's already way too late. So the answer is not in becoming a better employee. The answer is to stop waiting on somebody else's system to determine your value as a software engineer. Now, here's a thing that most software engineers get completely wrong when they first try to go out on their own and make an income independent of a 9-to-5. They think that the market is going to pay them for their technical ability, because that's what got them hired in the first place. But it is not, at least not directly. What the market actually pays for is your ability to be able to connect that technical skill to a business outcome that, let's say, a non-technical person can see and feel. There is a massive difference between these two things, and personally it took me an embarrassingly long time to actually figure it out. When I first started my own thing after I quit my job, I made pretty much every single mistake in the book. I built SaaS products that nobody asked for and I didn't validate. I spent months writing code for literally 0 paying users. I walked into meetings and talked about tech when the person across from the room literally couldn't care less, and all they cared about was, okay, how can you fix my problem? And I was technically excellent, but commercially speaking, I was useless. I couldn't sell myself. I couldn't show people that I was valuable. And the reason is that I was speaking one language in a conversation that required two. Here's what I mean. Tell a business owner that you can build a retrieval augmented generation pipeline with vector embeddings, and they're gonna stare at you like you are literally speaking gibberish to them. But then tell them that you will make sure that they never lose a customer to a missed phone call ever again, and they'll literally pull out their credit card and give it to you right on the spot. So you're pretty much describing the same exact technology, but you're having a completely different conversation. And the engineer who can actually do both, so the one who can understand the problem at the business level and actually build the solution at the technical level, that particular software engineer does not need to compete on price with everybody else. There's nobody else who is going to be able to do what they do. And the business people, keep in mind, they can't build it. The developers can't sell it. So if you're sitting at your desk right now, you literally already have the harder half of that equation. You just haven't developed the other side yet. And that's actually where it gets really interesting, because the other side is learnable in, I would say, a few months. The technical depth that you have took years to build, the neural pathways in your brain, the logical way you analyze things, AI cannot shortcut that. Your employer knows it, and any business owner who's ever tried to work with a non-technical vendor also knows it too. Your depth is your credibility. Think of it as your prescription authority. The thing that makes a client trust you, that you can actually deliver what you are promising. The only missing piece is learning how to walk into a room with a business owner, listen to their actual problem the right way, and actually get that problem out of them. Translate what you already know into something that they can understand and actually pay for. So while you have most of the other developers competing over a shrinking pool of salaried roles, the global tech consulting market in 2026 literally just crossed $400 billion, which is growing at 7% annually. And businesses everywhere across the world, not just in the United States, need somebody who can actually implement AI in their particular operations. Not talk about it, actually implement it. And the person that they're looking for isn't going to be the marketing guy who just figured out how to properly prompt ChatGPT, or the agency guy who watched 3 Make.com tutorials and is now cold emailing a bunch of business owners. It is going to be somebody who genuinely understands what is happening under the hood and can actually communicate it at the business level with the business owner. And you have to make sure that that's you. All you have to do is just learn how to show up that way and how to frame yourself such that that's how people treat you. Now, if you want help with that, on April 19th, I'm actually hosting a free live masterclass specifically for software engineers who are serious about making this shift. I'm going to walk you through the exact sales system that I use. So how to run discovery calls so the client actually feels understood before you end up pitching anything, how to handle objections that come up every single time, and how to actually close and price high-value deals without feeling like you are selling anything at all. So if you're a software engineer generating at least $5,000 a month or more, and you're done on waiting somebody else's headcount decisions to determine your future, this is built for you. Link is down below. Make sure you sign up and make sure you stay for the Q&A at the very end. Now, back to the video. Once you're actually talking to the buyers and actually closing deals, generating revenue that you now own and control, it does not matter what any other CEO is planning for the headcount next quarter, because their decisions no longer affect you. They have no more power over your life. So that's the real thing that you're building towards here. You're not just trying to make more money. You're not just trying to set up just a business. What you're doing is creating a life where somebody else's PowerPoint slide becomes completely irrelevant to you, where somebody else's decision no longer has any impact on you. And if you want to accelerate that, I want you to apply to Code to CEO, our very own startup accelerator dedicated specifically for software engineers. And if you want to see exactly how I myself would start a software business completely from scratch as a developer in 2026, then you need to watch this video right here. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good one.